Good morning, everybody. First of all, thanks. I know I was out a little late with you guys last night too, so really appreciate you getting up and spending the morning, because I know a lot of you were out later than I was, so that's cool. So I'm VP of Business Development for Verve. We're a location-based advertising company that leverage location to enable publishers to drive much higher value for engaging with consumers, with the brand advertisers that we work with. I'm a longtime mobile guy, so I actually started my career at Qualcomm back in 2000. And back then, I was part of the business development group that brought the Brew ecosystem to the market. I don't know if some of you publishers remember Brew, but it was one of the first successful mobile app stores before Apple and Google even got into the business. So we had, in our heyday, about 70 operators around the world. If you were on Verizon back in those days, it was get it now. And back then, our strategy at Qualcomm and why we got into the mobile app store was we were trying to drive operators to move from voice to data. And if you can believe it, they were laughing at us, saying that data was not going to be as big as voice, and voice was king. What I used to really geek out on as I would travel around the world was when I would see back in 2001, 2002, people looking at their phone. And I'd walk up at the airport and I'd say, what are they doing? Oh, they're playing Jandap bowling. Or that dude's doing an email. Wow, email on a phone. And it was like, so I would get all geeky about, like, 1 in 10 people were starting to look at their phone. Fast forward to today, and it is everywhere we look. People can't put the phone down. They're looking at it continuously. They're constantly engaged. We're touching it about 200 times a day now. And it's everywhere. The mobile has become truly ubiquitous. And I look back and I go, okay, well, the reason that Qualcomm got into it was we were trying to drive 3G, 4G, and drive more people to have a smartphone. Mission done, but now that everyone's looking at these devices, it opens up the door for you as the publishers to actually, how do you monetize this audience and really take advantage of these impressions? Because mobile is now going to surpass time spent in TV by 2019. That's incredible. But as I look at what my kids are doing at home, we're watching TV, but we're also looking at that second screen the entire time. In-app is going to represent 92% of the mobile advertising opportunity. So not just mobile web, in-app, because you're going to get the most persistent experience when you have that mobile application. Mobile advertising will be about $53 billion in the US by 2017, and 70% of the digital revenues. Mobile display is going to represent 50% of mobile advertising in market. And location-powered display by 2021 is expected to be $75 billion globally, $40 billion in the US alone. So mobile really has become the centerpiece, and it's not just the mobile device. It's the fact that mobile is like the hub now that is connecting to all of these other sensor-based technologies. So you've got mobile apps, you've got IoT devices that are out there, Fitbits, augmented reality, virtual reality. All of these are signals that can be leveraged to understand a consumer, both from their interest level, their engagement level, and enable more experiences that you can derive through your applications. And when you think about it, mobile going beyond personalization to actually becoming the remote control of our lives. These devices are collecting all kinds of information and insights about what we're doing with the device. So, what kind of device we have, where are we, what is our location, the sensor networks we connect with, the apps we use, the purchases that we're doing. All that activity on side of the application can enable you to create the mobile device to be contextually aware and to present you with the information, the content, the offers that are relevant to you in the moment, at the real time, when consumers are more likely to act upon that. And location is the secret sauce. So the key to understanding and really kind of having that 360 view of your audience and your consumer is understanding location and enabling your apps to be location aware and to have location-based experiences inside that application. Because mobile without location is just desktop advertising. And it's exciting. So we have this rise of smart devices that people are out there leveraging today, from smart watches to these voice natural interfaces that are happening. So this rise of connected periphery devices matched with what big brands are doing and being able to take all that data and those insights and actually turning those data, all the data they're generating and collecting through their apps into moments of how they engage with the consumer and actually going beyond just advertising to enabling things like in-app purchasing of actual physical goods. How many of you in the room today are using Apple Pay and Google Pay? Yeah, it's so much more convenient than the chip. So if it's on your phones today, and you'll find that probably 80% of millennials are actually using Apple Pay where we're at today. On the other side, it's nurturing consumer relationships with brands. Now, by having all these mobile insights, brands like Target can actually change the way that their app engages with a consumer both out of store and in store. And all that's enabled through location. So at Verve, we've coined the phrase movement science. So what we do is we enable brands to reach consumers at specific locations and targeted audiences based on location-based history. So the more that we can understand about a user and their location patterns, the better you are at being able to target and deliver more relevant content and advertising to the end user. So we collect about 250 billion data points on location a year, and then use that information to build up audience segments that based on the location history. And we work with some of the top brands in the country across all major segments. So brands like Walmart and Target and P&G and Unilever, they're looking to spend money through our app partnerships with audiences at particular locations. They're not looking at a particular app. They're looking for a particular audience. And what we're able to do is to help them understand the consumer's digital journey in the physical world. Because if you can understand where home is, where work is, and all the stops in between, where they go to the gym, if they're into fitness, all of that enables you to now target as what type of an individual is a consumer. And all of this is done from our standpoint without ever understanding the consumer's name. We just understand a device ID and behavioral activities that are happening to then aggregate and anonymize all that data to create these targeted segments. We also then enable a much richer experience when it comes to display-based advertising. So let's see. There we go. So an example here is we worked with Tiffany. Tiffany last year asked us to work with them to take boring display advertising and create a unit while inside the unit that was reaching out to millennials for their Atlas and T products. So you can see here, you can actually, in this banner, it's turned into a web page where you can buy through there, you can see a video, you can actually even see what are the 10 nearest stores to you and click on a map, like a Google map, inside of that same banner unit without ever leaving the app experience. On the other hand, we also see that one of the problems with banner display ads today is banner blindness. People have learned to stop looking. So we do things like what we call canopy, enabling a 3D version of the banner to come alive and to start changing and turning like the car was doing as you're scrolling up and down and engaging with the publisher's content. And then as they click on it to show that there's interest, you can get to a video or any other information about it or a click to action that comes with it. And what we found is that by having this kind of engagement, we get a 5x increase in engagement compared to just standard banner ads. We then take a lot of all the insights that we're doing. We have a team of about 20 data scientists that look at campaigns that we work with these brands and our publisher partners, and we look at how did it deliver? Did it deliver against the targets we were looking for? How was the engagement? Did consumers engage with the creative that was there? How relevant was it to the target market that we were going after? And then how well did it perform against KPIs? And then continue to refine as we move forward with those learnings. Now the key to location data is it's not just a zip code, it's not just a geofence. Location data comes in many different forms. So here you can see most publishers are getting data from the exchanges. Most exchange data is incorrect when it comes to location. You can be anywhere from a mile to 2 miles to a whole city off in where a consumer actually is. The publisher has got very rich insights. They have a relationship with the consumer, so their data is extremely valuable in understanding a bit more about the consumer. But really, when the fidelity of being able to get precise location data is when you have an SDK that is persistently running in the background and is leveraging geolocation. But then when you start to add on even finer ones like beacons and IoT and wallet, you start to get a much granular view of location data. And what does that mean from a visual standpoint? If you're just looking at exchange data, you don't get a great view of the consumer. You get kind of like, I know that this is a male. But the more you start adding the SDK, adding in beacons, wallets, start to add in other capabilities of your app to engage with the automobile and connecting that, all of that starts to provide more data insights to understand who this user is and what are they interested in doing. Whoops. So the power behind what we do is we enable our publishers with an SDK that goes inside of your application that is leveraging background data, location services, Bluetooth beacons. It also has all 3 of the major viewability platforms, Moat, IIS, Double Verify. It enables you to collect all the native device data, and also includes a creative unit based on our Founder unit that enables much richer experiences beyond just standard banner displays. And demand for location is rapidly increasing. So what we're seeing is it's going to be 3x over the next 3 years. So we'll see in 2020, $30 billion. So I said in the earlier slide, $40 billion in 2021. So location data is only increasing, and we're getting more and more demand from the brands that we're working with. And as you leverage location, what we're also seeing is that CPMs are increasing from 20 to 30%. Last year, we paid out nearly $50 million to our publisher partners through the targeted advertising that we did working with these brands. We were able to drive an increase in 31% of click-through rates, an increase of 25 to 30% in CPMs, nearly a 40% fill rate, and helping them drive revenue. And I'll leave you with a case study that we did with one of an unnamed QSR that we've been working with for the past year, and we did number 5 to 6 campaigns. You may be able to figure out what type of QSR this was, but I'm not going to name the name. The key here is that we worked with them across all their mobile campaigns for this period of time, and we were able to see a consistent increase in behavioral engagement. The one that we're most proud of is that we were able to increase their average store visit lift by 25%. On average, when we work with a QSR or retailer, we're about 10 to 20% 10 to 25%. So these guys were on the high end of in-store visits. And when you think about it, this is what advertisers want. They're advertising in your properties because they want to drive people into their stores. They want to drive people to make that purchase. So it's all about the relevancy in being able to understand and engage that user. So we're here. Charlie Karstrom on my team. Where are you, Charlie? Stand up. Okay, so Charlie and I are here. We'd love to talk to any publishers that are looking to increase their monetization inside of your application. So happy to talk with anyone after this. Thank you.